Hey, Zachy Feller here, and today I wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious. Racism. So, my mom's been sending me videos of Asian people getting beat up left and right because we've been blamed for bringing coronavirus over to the US, and therefore it's our fault because we're Asian. So, a couple things to unpack there. First, a lot of Asians here aren't even from China, so they couldn't have brought it over. That shows the level of unintelligence a person has to go and attack someone because they are ethnically related to the people from the country that the virus came from. You must be an idiot to do that. Two, if that was the case and every Asian person brought coronavirus over, you beating them up is going to get you infected with coronavirus anyways, so what's your logic there? Like, I'm gonna beat you up and get infected myself? The fuck is wrong with you? Three, even the Asian people from China who are here now, you can't blame them for coronavirus. They didn't bring it over here intentionally. That's like beating up every white person you see because one white person was racist to you. And you're like, oh, it's all your fault. All white people are racist. I gotta beat them up. Like, that's not logical. That's so dumb. You have to be an idiot to want to do that. You can't just pigeonhole everybody. But okay, that aside, obviously, racially speaking, that's not the biggest thing that is happening or has been happening for the past hundreds of years. In fact, the whole Asians being attacked for bringing coronavirus over to the United States thing is a footnote in comparison to the Black Lives Matter movement that we are seeing in full effect right now because of all the things that have happened in the news. And sure, I can go back and recount all the little specific details, but by now we've seen countless retellings of the same stories happening to different people. And we know that this is not a new problem. This is an insidious problem that's been in the country's DNA from the very start. Now, we need to do something about this. Racism has to stop. And you, watching, have to do something about this. If you're not doing anything about this now, I want you to think about what you can do, and I want you to go do something about it, because all it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to stand by and do nothing. If you just do nothing and you let things happen that are bad, you are complicit with the evil that is being done. Those 3 officers that stood by and did nothing while the one was committing murder, they are complicit to that evil because they stood by and they did nothing when each of them had the power to do something. Don't be those guys, because if you do nothing, that's you. I mean, sure, maybe you're not committing murder, but if you let systematic racism continue unobstructed, then you are just as bad as those racist people committing hate crimes. Just because you didn't do it doesn't mean you're free of blame. If you've seen it, if you're seeing it, if you can do something about it, you need to do something about it. And you can't just sit by and watch. And sure, each of us can help in different capacities. Not everybody can affect change in the same way as someone who has a lot of influence. But each of us can do something in our lives. We can stand up, we can not stand for racism, and we cannot tolerate it. When you see it in action, when you see it in your day-to-day lives, you need to shut that down. You need to confront whoever is doing anything stupidly racist, or even minorly racist, anything racist at all, and you need to address that problem. You need to make sure that whoever's committing that knows what they're doing is not okay. Because there are plenty of people who do racist things all the time without even knowing that they're racist. But you need to point it out to them. You need to go, no, you can't do this. this is fucked up. You're fucked up. So I just wanted to put this video out there to make sure that, yeah, sure, some of us aren't directly affected by all the racial insanity that's going on in the world right now. But we should be. And if we don't get involved, then we are fucking pathetic. We are letting this happen. And to be completely frank, that just means you're racist too. So don't be racist. If you are racist and you know you're racist, ask yourself why. Why have you gone to this point? Can you go read up and learn about the history of racism? Can you learn a little bit about the people that you're racist against? Why do you feel a certain way to a certain group of people? Why are you acting the way that you act? Because there's always some underlying issue there, usually something to do with inferiority that you try and disguise as superiority. But be honest with yourself and reform yourself, because the future, this world, is not slated for racist people. Y'all are a dying breed and you have to go. If you cannot see that we all belong to the human race and you insist on being divisive between people because of their ethnicity, then you need to change, you need to evolve with the times, or you need to fuck off, because we don't have space for those kinds of people anymore. No more tolerance. No more of this shit. Change, become better, or fuck off. And, you know, society has been changing more towards acceptance and understanding and inclusivity, but it's not changing fast enough. So we need to force that change to happen a little bit faster. We need to make things right. So do what you can to help fight racism, because it's not okay. If you haven't felt the negative edge of racism, then you probably don't understand it, but it is your job to go and understand it. Put yourself in the shoes of the people being oppressed. Put yourself in the shoes of the people being attacked. Put yourself in the shoes of the people being murdered solely because of the way they look. And if you don't understand how fucked up that is, then you must be a psychopath. It's a hard video, man. So start educating yourselves. Do something good for the world, for everybody who lives in it. Black lives matter. And sure, I know there's some of you out there who say all lives matter. And yeah, that's true, all lives matter. But black lives are not being treated like everybody else. So the problem isn't that all lives matter. The problem is that black lives are not being treated like all lives. And until that is the case, until black lives are included in all lives matter, then all lives matter is not the top priority right now. So do what you can, stand up for the cause. You don't have to go out there and throw Molotov cocktails at things. That doesn't really help. I don't think that's a safe idea, or it brings attention to certain things, and maybe that's what people need, but I'm not for the violence and destruction of property unless it is monuments to evil. Then take those down, yeah. It's been announced that they're going to finally remove the Confederate statues here in Virginia, which a lot of people are super happy about, myself included. But I know there's the other argument that feels as if we are removing a part of history, that we are taking away from the heritage of slavery and whatnot. And that's ridiculous, because the history is always going to be there. The history is in the textbooks. It's in history. No one's going to forget that. But removing the statues, the monuments to these people who sowed the seeds of racism into American culture, that, to me, that's progress. I mean, you don't go to Germany seeing statues of Hitler standing around being celebrated as heritage, even though, I mean, it was part of history. That did happen. You can't avoid the fact that that happened. But you also acknowledge that that's fucked up and you tear it down because that's not what you're trying to propagate anymore. So I don't understand this whole issue with the Confederate stuff here. You know, the Confederacy was not only slave driving and incredibly racist, they were also treasonous, and I don't really see anywhere else celebrating treason by building statues of them, monuments to them. That space could be better used for things more relevant now. I mean, there's nothing wrong keeping an old monument up as long as it means something good, if it means something useful. But preserving a beacon of hate in the name of heritage is really messed up. It just sounds like you can't let go of the past. And you might as well just fly a Nazi flag, because heritage. Alright, this thing has gone on long enough, and I don't know, this was very hard to sit and talk my way through because there's just so many things to talk about here. This is difficult. I mean, obviously it's more difficult for other people than it is for me because I'm not being oppressed on a daily level. I mean, sometimes I walk around the street and I see white people who look like they're about to jump me because of coronavirus. But then again, black people walk the streets every day and have to worry about being jumped by cops all the time. So I don't think that's a good environment. You know, America likes to pride itself on being the best country and all that stuff, and it clearly has a way to go. We have a lot of good things going for us, but we have a lot of tragedies, a lot of nonsense, and we don't have space for racist people anymore. We don't have space for hateful heritage anymore. History is history. We need to learn from it and we need to move on. We don't have to celebrate the terrible things that were done in history. We need to move on from that. We need to replace those things with good things that can happen. So get up off your ass and go do something. It can be as small as just learning, reading a book, talking to someone who is oppressed, actually wanting to learn from them instead of you hopping on some stupid bandwagon because, oh, this is the thing to do or whatever, and just doing it for the sake of doing it. Don't do that. Do it because you care, and care because you have to. Because if you don't care, then you're just a fucking asshole. So, do good. Do good. Is it so hard to just do some good? Is it so hard to not be an asshole? I don't think so. I really don't think it's that hard to not be an evil douchebag. So stop. Stop the people out there who are evil douchebags. Do everything you can to stop this from proliferating any further. We need to grow as a nation. We need to grow as a people. We need to grow as a species. And we need to come together instead of squabbling over stupid shit. I guess that's all I have to say about this for now. So I'll see you next week for a regular video. I promise it'll be a normal video. But I think it was important that I made my stance clear, that I don't stand for racism. I do not stand for anybody that stands for racism. And the racists, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go. Y'all get the fuck out of here. What the fuck are you doing here? Fuck off. Okay, so catch you in the next one. Not the racist.